I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. My guest tonight is Sonia Garber. She is the editor-in-chief of the Cortland magazine, and we're going to talk about, there's so many things to talk about. I read the mission statement, first magazine that I got, and it said to bring neighbors together in a positive, relevant, and fun way with a purposeful focus on family, community, the arts, local businesses, serving others, and charitable acts. And I thought, wow, that's exactly what my show was about. So her phone number was in the magazine. I called her up. I said, look, I have a local cable access show, and I just read your mission statement. I said, that's exactly what I try to do on my show. So she said she'd love to come on, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, and I love that the mission resonated with you. I wrote the mission, and just like it says, it really brings a lot of people together in this area. Community, just like the name of your show, the Community Show. So this was really, really great to be able to meet today.
You know, we were supposed to shoot less than a month ago, and something came up. We couldn't do the show, but we were able to get together. We went out and had dinner, and I think that helped us because we were able to chat and get to know each other a little better. And usually I cook on the show, but we've got so much to talk about that I feel like, you know, we could just talk. But there is one thing I want to mention. My neighbor, who I grew up with, Danny O'Brien, his stepson is helping out the Verplank Fire Department, and they're having an open house October 8th from 1 to 4 p.m. And the purpose is to learn about fire safety and fire prevention. Some of the things that will be there are the New York State Police will be there to have a simulator. The fire prevention trailer is going to be there. The Montrose VA Hazmat the unit will be there. Vehicle extrication demo, which is kind of cool. They're going to have free food and refreshments. So the date is October 8th, and it's going to be at the Verplank Fire Department on 8th Street, and they'd love to have you come and check it out. And that's another big part of your magazine. You have so many of these things, local events that are going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to with your show here. There's a lead time, so you know, in the opening of every magazine, you know, it says that community submissions are accepted by the 25th of every month, and then it'll be for 2 months out. So, like you just said, October 8th, but we're already, that one's already off to print. So anyone that has November or later events that they want to send, please do. That's what it's all about.
Right. Now, to be time sensitive, the actual taping of today's show is the 12th of September, 2016. And usually, you know, we don't like to say that in case I want to show the show again a month or so from now, you know, then it would be time sensitive. But, you know, I feel it's a great thing that we're able to tell people about these events.
And I'm sorry to change the subject, but I do just agree with you about I'm glad that we got to meet before today, and I think you should do it, like for all of your future guests. It's a, you know, a nice way to build rapport. For sure. And you know, even me, when I'm talking to new people and businesses, you know, sometimes I just dread the rapport part because it just feels forced, like, oh gosh, you know. So it was just a great way to break the ice.
Definitely. Well, 90% of my guests I know. It's very seldom that it's somebody I don't know, you know. And
well, you've only been in this area for like 100 years.
Right.
So.
Well, half of 150. So, and it's funny because I do know everybody. But the best part, you know, I think it's a skill that I learned from church. And I know people even from the back of their head, you know. Like I'll see them at the department store or at the grocery store down the aisle, and I'll know who they are.
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh.
So, yeah. So some of them, all right, might avoid some of them, but only because I'm in a hurry and I have to go to work. So
wow,
it's not on purpose.
So it is a small town.
Yeah, it's a small town, but, and I always say, you know, I have 8 brothers and 1 sister, and I know all their friends, so then I know all their family.
Yeah.
And then growing up in the restaurant, we know everybody that comes to the restaurant, you know, and then just, there's so many people, but it's great. It's a great feeling, you know. I can't go to the post office without being there for 10 or 15 minutes. But people are genuine. They want to know how I am, how my family's doing, you know. And that's the biggest part of community that I like.
I like that feeling too. And I grew up actually in Lower Westchester,
Yeah.
Bronx, Yonkers, and Ardsley. So, you know, and I guess, you know, for like middle and high school, that was like Ardsley, and I appreciated really the small town atmosphere and feel, you know. It's just fun. It's like a social feeling, like you're saying, just to be able to go to the post office and just, you know, it just feels really nice.
It is.
So I relate to that. And then, you know, my parents discovered Peekskill, you know, maybe going on almost 20 years now back. And that's how I, you know, was introduced to this area. And I definitely, and, you know, Cortland and Yorktown and just surrounding areas, I definitely, through this, I've been able to, you know, achieve that same feeling of community. And it's really nice. So I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
It's a cute story how your parents met. I want to hear that.
Okay, so my mother came from Korea, and my father came to this country from Austria. Wow. Back when Yankee Stadium was the old Yankee Stadium, and there was the Stadium Motor Lodge, which is still there now, right?
Yeah, sure.
My dad, you know, had a job there for a little while. He eventually went into some other things. And my mother, who it was like her first time ever driving or something really crazy. She was like trying to get into New Jersey, because that's like where you go like over the bridge, right? And to see her friends. And of course she got lost, barely spoke like a word of English, or she did, but it was very, you know,
tough to hear or understand.
Not very fluent yet. And my dad was the doorman at the Stadium Motor Lodge, and she stopped and asked him for directions, and my dad did not miss a beat. And he always says, "Oh, when I saw your mother, it was love at first sight."
Nice.
So it is, yeah, it's a sweet story.
Definitely. Now the Rotary Club, you've just become a member.
I've just become a member with the Cortland Rotary Club. I'm just learning a lot about Rotary. I know there's some other local clubs, Peekskill and Croton. I know they also have Rotary clubs, and you know, I just like feeling like it's part of like a bigger whole. And like you were saying, I mean, it's international. I have not scratched the surface of what it means to be a Rotarian. I just, you know, it's service, community, friendship. I mean, it's been, you know, an honor to be included and involved, and I just hope to keep growing and learning more within the organization. So.
I highly recommend everybody joining the Rotary Club. I think it's a great way to get to meet people, the camaraderie, you know, you make friends, and it's huge.
I definitely, it has been a way for me to, you know, meet people again in this area and make friends and
networking, now that you're, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's part of it.
Good. So. Now that they have a, this is a time-sensitive date. They're doing a not an outing, but something with the Mount Carmel Society, Lady of Mount Carmel in Verplank. This will be the 2nd year. They're doing a thing called Touch a Truck, where the kids could come and see all different kinds of trucks, fire trucks, work trucks, utility trucks, all different kinds of, and it's a great way for the kids to get to learn about, you know, trucks that are used in the community.
It is going to be a great event. Sharon Irving, who is the charter president of Cortland Rotary, has been, I guess, in charge of getting that event together, and I was able to help a little bit last year.
Nice.
And I mean, the amount of people that came to it, it was incredible. So I'm looking forward to being there again this year.
Yep. So this one is going to be the 18th of September. The rain-out date will be the 25th, which is also a Sunday, and it'll be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So.
And I'm glad you're good with dates because I'm not.
Yeah. So it's at the 155 Highland Avenue in Verplank, right where they have the Italian Fiesta.
I did.
Every year.
Yes, my son and I were there, and it was really fun. You know, going on rides and like, I mean, just like, you know, fun like things you see at fairs, and like fried Oreos.
I know.
Like that's not something you would want to eat on a. But when you go to something like that, it's like, oh my gosh, you know.
Excellent.
So it was fun.
Speaking of your son, you did the Pokemon thing with him.
Oh my goodness.
Now I have no idea what it was about, but why don't you fill us in a little bit?
So it's an app that you put on your phone, and you can actually. Pokemon is like, I guess, this whole like comic or something, and you collect the characters.
That I know about. Yeah.
But it was nice for us because it actually, I think there's been a lot of different opinions about this.
Well,
but
people walking around with their head down and walking into traffic or whatever.
Yeah, and you still see things in the news even now. I thought by now the craze would be over and really the article wouldn't be, relevant. But, it actually gave us a reason to be outdoors walking together and seeing things and taking things in.
Yeah.
So that part of it was nice.
Yeah, you got to see landmarks that you otherwise wouldn't have gone to see.
I mean, we should be doing that anyway, not just because with Pokemon Go.
Right.
So everything, in moderation with video games and things like that.
Now you do a couple of different articles about non-for-profit organizations. The one that I read was the Love Holds Life. This Becky Edom, she was looking to open her own non-for-profit business. She's been, grew up in a family business and, always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And she wound up finding this Love Holds Life that was already established, and she became like the executive director.
Richard Sonato is the founder of Love Holds Life, and actually I met him first at, it was at Cortland Town Center. I'm sure it'll be happening again this year. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. It was the Cortland Health and Wellness Fair, I believe. And so, just in really working so hard to get this off the ground and talking to people, we got chatty, and that is how this has come about. Like you were saying, grassroots.
Yes.
It was literally me pounding the pavement, talking to people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what he does is so commendable. All of the write-ups that have been, it's been a privilege to be able to write about them, and I guess tying business in with causes is something that I hold dear to my heart. So
yes,
and I have some experience.
I mean, example of us getting together. Both interested in the community, both trying to get people involved. Doing charitable acts. I love when I read that. And now these two people meet. Like minds. They turn out. They help raise money for kids that have cancer. I mean, you just look at the amount, that medical bills, how much it costs, and it's scary, And that's why it's so important to take care of yourself, too. I think that's a nice part that you mentioned, in, eating right, exercising. Nobody likes to go to the doctor. You gotta go to the doctor.
Preventative.
Yes, preventative medicine. Nobody likes to go to the dentist, but you gotta, every 3 or 6 months, you gotta get your, it's a pain, and, they ask you questions while they're in your mouth, and you're like, it's I always tell them, if you're gonna ask me any questions, make sure they're yes or no. So, but I thought that was an excellent interview, and so tell us how you got involved.
It was written, Bruce Apar, who is, Bruce the blog, Apar
Yeah.
is, he writes the feature stories and the business write-ups and the charity spotlights. So, and he's been, a professional writer in this area for so many years.
Yes.
To me, it's just been luck, I think, or, just a blessing that, writing is something I've always loved and enjoyed. And through this job, I mean, it's great and I love it and I get to, but, at the end of the day, it's a job. I actually get to write and do things that I really like. But Bruce Apar has been a professional writer in this area for so many years, and that has also been a huge blessing for him to be involved with this also.
Well, I like the way you write the articles. They're very easy to read,
Thank you.
It's I feel like you're just talking to me, when I read to it. And I think that's great. So you've got a few opportunities to volunteer. I think volunteering, it's a great way to meet people. But there was another story about a Matthew
Galata of Galata House, who I met at a Hudson Valley Gateway Chamber of Commerce networking event. Again, grassroots, right? I guess that's the word, which I also have heard on the show before, I think by your latest one, which was Casey Morabito, right?
Casey Morabito was on.
So anyway, little shout out to Casey. So we met at a networking event, and that's I haven't had any trouble really finding the charity spotlights, because we live in an area where so many people are in that mindset of running or being involved in a nonprofit or charity, giving back, helping. It's a great area, so that's...
Well, a lot of them start because they've met tragedy. For example, Matthew's family, I guess their house burned down when he was a kid. And, again, with the financial situation, they struggled because to get the house back together and stuff like that. So his organization raises money for people that run into these kinds of problems,
I do really think when he was talking to me about it, even that first night, to say that his is a charity for, working people that have hardships.
Yes.
That to me was cool. I've never heard, of a nonprofit or charity that was the mission. Who has not experienced a hardship at one time or another. So definitely support him.
Yes, and he is open to volunteers, and you can make donations. You could find him online. I think MatthewGalata.com or something like that. But you'll find it in the magazine. So get the magazine. Now we can go online and find these magazines, right?
Okay. So.
Okay.
That's my answer. Just okay.
Yeah.
Well, it is a print publication, so we don't, really have a link that you can click on to read it cover to cover. I can, and I do, to anyone that has contributed or been featured in some sort of way, I always try and send the PDF file of that piece so that you have that and you can treasure it or share it and do what you like with it. But at the end of the day, and it's funny, I think John Testa said this to me originally, someone else that I met early on, who I know has been on this show, you just want to hold something in your hands. So that's why, it's kind of, I think the print is a nice adjunct. Don't you agree?
Yes.
To like all the online stuff?
Without a doubt. Yeah, I love getting the magazine and being able to read it. Another excellent topic are the family features. I think the latest one was with the DiPietro family, and they own 2 restaurants that have been around, and excellent places. And it's funny that we have kind of the same, thing with the family restaurant and being involved in the community and stuff like that. So family features, tell us a little about that.
You're right, the DiPietrios, a great family. And really that's, the Best Version Media which is the company that hired me to be the publisher of Cortland Living, their whole, premise was, putting a local family on the cover each month. So I'm really trying to, hold true to that value as much as I can. And that's, family is really,
it's the cornerstone of the community, because that's where it starts. I mean, how you raise your children, how you get them ready for school, how you, act in the community, it all starts with the family. It all starts with parenting. And I thought it was excellent that you interviewed Adam McCauley, who he has his own what is it, Taekwondo or
Dojo?
Jiu-Jitsu dojo? But,
I think for karate.
For karate. And I've seen him write articles in different magazines, local magazines, and he really focuses on raising kids and trying to get kids. And I think that's excellent, because there's, I'm sure there's books out there about parenting, but there's no like straight guideline how to raise kids, and for him to give advice like that, I think is excellent, especially for people that are looking for advice.
Yeah, they're another great family who have, been in business in this area for a long time. He actually even did write a book about parenting. So
excellent.
Yeah, definitely hit him up for a copy.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to thank him for his work, and I think that's great that he puts his opinion out there and he gets noticed. I think that's huge. Now there's a lot of different things, places of worship I thought was excellent. Now, you thought of that, or?
Actually, I had met with Linda Puglisi very early on, and she, was giving me some ideas, and places of worship was one of them. And I agree that that's an important part of life. So
I know my brother moved down south, and one of the first things the neighbors asked him is, did they find a church okay? So I thought that was so cool. I think being, having a base of morals, and that's what church really does for you, And they all say, do unto others. I think that's the bottom line of any religion, and should be. And if people just follow that, do unto others, I think that's the golden rule, and that's what it's called. But, I just wish everybody could do that. But and then you have movie reviews.
Movie reviews, yes. The first one ever was by Bradley Nelson, who is a Rotary friend. Yeah. And it just kind of, again, everything really, has happened really organically, and it's just been such a blessing. And I'm, at a point now, where, I could use
a couple of ideas.
Not ideas. I think, sometimes to, take your business to the next level, I can only do all the heavy lifting for so long before,
now you're going to have to start looking for help.
I guess that's really what I was trying to say without exactly saying it. So if you know of anyone, please send them my way.
For sure. That's something that's near and dear to our director's heart, is this movie reviews. She's a big movie buff. Cecilia, thanks for helping with the show. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And I think she actually wanted to do a cable show where she could do, movie reviews.
Oh my gosh, sign me up.
I know, it's great, right? So bringing neighbors together, big part of the magazine. Volunteering, getting involved. That's what I say on every show, and that's what my mission statement is. Don't complain about what's going on. Do something. The only way we're going to change government is by getting involved, by voting, by doing the things. I mean, we could have a revolution, but I don't think that's that's not our way of doing things.
It is just what you said. This is bringing people together, you know.
Like minds.
I don't know. Maybe we should read the mission statement again.
Well,
what did I say in it?
It brings neighbors together in a positive,
Actually,
relevant, and fun way.
So BVM's interesting. So BVM's tagline, which is within the mission statement that I wrote, is bringing. It was bringing neighbors together, and they've just tweaked it to bringing people together.
Okay.
So that word should be people.
Oh, people. But you know,
just saying.
We're all neighbors, you know. So.
So it's to bring people together. What?
Okay. In a positive and relevant and fun way. I like the fun part. We all need to have fun.
I know.
It's huge.
I know.
And with a purposeful focus on family, which is the cornerstone of the community, and what's that say? I better put my glasses on now. Oh, the arts. That's another part of your magazine.
Family, community, the arts.
Okay.
Yes, I do some artsy things, and it's just fun to stay involved with that. And there's so many great artists in this community.
Now, I had one of the artists on my show when I had the show Peekskill Arts.
Which one?
She does the art where people get involved. She makes murals.
That was in.
Yeah.
You don't remember the name?
I do, but it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Makes murals?
Yeah, murals, and she gets, you know, like 10 people do the painting, and it's.
And she's in Peekskill?
She's in Peekskill.
Lena?
No. All right, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right, so we just have a few more minutes, and what would you like to talk about?
So, what good movies have you seen lately?
I'm not really a moviegoer. I used to be, but there's a couple I'd like to see.
Really?
Yeah.
Like which ones?
Can't think of them right now. So, speaking of pounding the pavement, that was your first job with the magazine, going out, getting the people to.
That was the hard part.
Yeah.
And it's still, you know, a hard aspect about it. But like I was saying to you before, you know, if anyone that you know or anyone watching, I am looking for some folks that can help, you know, just help me, you know, collect more sponsors, because the sponsors really are what make this magazine possible. And they're doing, just because this magazine has a mission, they're doing something so great by being involved in this, and I really appreciate it so much, and try to, you know, give back and patronize their businesses, services, whenever that I can.
Right.
So.
Now, I know they come in the mailbox. What's another way somebody can get their hands on the copy?
Another way would be to call me. Or email me.
Okay.
We should be able to be getting some back issues ordered very soon.
Yes.
But basically the best thing would be to contact me.
Okay. And the artist's name was Marcy.
Oh, Marcy B. Friedman, yes.
Yes. So, sorry, Marcy. I knew I'd get it, but.
I think she just, she's in Croton. I'm not sure if she just moved out there or not, but she's been really supportive. So many people have been supportive. We would need a 5-hour-long show to be able to.
So then you will come back on the show. We will do another show. And this time I'll cook on the next one. So.
That's what we need to do.
Okay.
Butternut squash soup.
That'll be a good one. And Marcy, it was good to read your article. I really enjoy what you're doing. She does a lot of stuff for the community too, trying to get people involved, which is excellent. You know, a lot of social awareness things that you know, need to be addressed, and you know, people need to speak their mind. You know, it's kind of like we're all going into these little cubicles, you know, instead of being a little more social. So I think that's a big part of your magazine, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thanks. Victor Margiotta, The Community Show. Thanks for watching.